Welcome to today's deep dive. So, have you ever stood in a sports bar or maybe seen a high-tech control room on TV and wondered how that massive grid of screens synchronizes perfectly to form one giant image?
Yeah, it's something you just take for granted, right?
Yeah,
You see this huge display and don't think about the plumbing.
exactly. Well, we've got the specs today, and
Yeah.
we're decoding the actual secret brain that makes that digital magic happen,
Right, the WolfPack 4K 60 hertz 1:9 video wall controller.
which is a mouthful, I know.
It is, yeah. But it's this unassuming 5-pound, 11-inch box. It just sits quietly in a rack somewhere.
Yeah, completely hidden infrastructure. But the heavy lifting it does is just, well, it's entirely visual.
So moving into the mechanics, I mean, how does it physically parse that much data without a massive processing delay?
Well, it takes one ultra-high definition HDMI input, so up to 4K at 60 hertz, and it distributes it across up to 9 standard 1080p HDMI outputs.
I sort of picture it like a master chef taking a giant high-resolution pizza.
Pizza. Okay, I'm listening. Right, so you have this massive 4K pizza, and the chef flawlessly slices it onto 9 different plates, which are the 1080p screens, without dropping a single pixel or, pepperoni.
That is actually a great way to look at it. And the trick to not dropping the pepperoni is the pixel-to-pixel display capability.
Wait, what does that mean exactly? Point to point?
Yeah, so because a 4K image is exactly 4 1080p images stitched together, formatting a 2x2 grid gives you true pixel-to-pixel mapping.
Oh, I see.
Every single pixel from the original source maps perfectly to a physical pixel on those output screens.
But hold on, the controller does a 1:9 or a 3:3 video wall layout, right?
Yep, it does.
So that's 9 screens total. The math doesn't really add up for a 1-to-1 pixel map there.
Good catch. So that is where the internal processing comes in. For a 3x3 grid, the controller dynamically scales and distributes that 4K input across all 9 screens.
Okay, so it stretches it.
Exactly. It stretches the geometry while maintaining the highest possible fidelity, so you still get a totally crisp, synchronized image without hardware lag.
But, in the real world, you have to account for the physical bezels of the TVs themselves. Doesn't the dead space between the monitors totally chop up the illusion?
It would, yeah, if not for the splicing edge adjustment.
Splicing edge.
Right. The controller mathematically calculates the physical gap created by the plastic bezels, and it essentially hides the pixels that would fall behind them.
Oh, wow. So it makes the image look like it's naturally flowing behind a window pane rather than just being weirdly stretched over the plastic gaps.
Exactly. And you can even rotate the output images 90, 180, or 270 degrees right on the fly for custom layouts.
Okay, I have to push back here, though, because I'm having a hard time squaring that.
What do you mean?
Well, with all this heavy 4K processing, dynamic scaling, edge compensation, and real-time image rotation, doesn't a device like this overheat?
You would definitely think so.
Yeah, like wouldn't it require a massive power supply and a screaming cooling fan so it doesn't melt?
Well, looking at the source data, it remarkably only consumes 10 watts of power.
Wait, really? 10 watts. An old LED light bulb uses more than that.
I know, it's crazy. It achieves that low draw because it utilizes these hyper-efficient, dedicated ASIC processing chips instead of relying on a power-hungry PC motherboard.
Oh, so it's super specialized.
Very. And because there are no moving parts or mechanical hard drives, it's incredibly resilient. It operates in extreme temperatures, from a freezing -50 degrees Fahrenheit up to a sweltering 122 degrees.
So it's basically built like a tank.
Completely. And it's designed for professional integration. It's got your standard IR remote and push-button controls, but the RS-232 commands are the real workhorse here.
Which lets you tie it into the broader building network, right?
Exactly. You tie the controller directly into automated AV systems. The whole video wall can be managed remotely alongside the building's lighting and audio.
So for you listening, what this boils down to is that at roughly a $1,000 price point, this device gives users completely pro-grade heavy-duty AV control.
Yeah, it's a huge value. The next time you're staring at that massive video wall at the airport, you'll know exactly what kind of tech is quietly running this show behind the scenes.
Absolutely. And it leaves me with this final thought for you to ponder.
What's that?
If a single 10-watt box can seamlessly slice a 4K reality across 9 screens in freezing temperatures today, how will our physical spaces transform when 8K or even 16K inputs become the everyday standard for digital art?